Thank you for being an important part of Waterlife Church and for being interested in serving. My name is Chris. I'm the pastor of Connections at Waterlife, and I'd love to connect you to a meaningful way to serving at our church. This video is to give you the basics of what you can expect at serving at Waterlife Church. And I'll tell you, we're excited that you're a part of our church and that you're interested in serving. After you've done watching this video, then just fill out the form below and you'll be on your way. At Waterlife Church, our mission is to lead people into a knowing, growing, and going relationship with Jesus. So why serve at Waterlife Church? Because it helps us fulfill our mission. So number one, we want people to know Jesus. You know, when people want to come to church or take a next spiritual step, there's all kinds of barriers that are in the way from them doing that. Those barriers just come naturally. It's hard for people to get to church. There's barriers in the way of people making decisions. At our church, we just want to remove those barriers. And when you're volunteering with us, you help remove those barriers. So from the parking lot to the Waterlife Kids areas, from the doors to the auditorium, the music, the speaking, the production, all of that helps just make a clear pathway for people to take their next step spiritually. So a big part of what you do at Waterlife Church is clearing the way so people can take a next step spiritually, so people can know Jesus. And that's really what it's all about. And serving at Waterlife Church, it has to do with growing in our relationship. You know, Jesus said He didn't come to be served, but He came to serve and give. So when you're serving, you're being more like Jesus. You're growing in your relationship with Him. And we want to be better followers of Jesus. We want to serve and give like He did and like His disciples did 2,000 years ago. And of course, when we're serving, we are going. Jesus said to go and make disciples of all the nations and teaching them to obey the things that He's commanded us. And when we're serving, we are actually going to help make disciples. So when you're volunteering at Waterlife Church, you are a part of our mission, helping people to know, grow, and go in their relationship with Jesus. Now, as you're preparing to serve, I just want to let you know that we do not want to burn you out at Waterlife Church. We do not want to burn out our volunteers, but we want our volunteers to be all in. You might have been in a situation before where you've gotten burned out from serving. And usually when people get burned out from serving, it's because 10% of the people are doing 90% of the work. And we don't want to have that situation at Waterlife Church. Usually when people get burnt out, it's because they're working a lot of low impact hours. Well, at our church, we want you to work just a few hours, but we want them to be high impact. We want you to serve where you love to serve, where your gifts are. So we want you to serve just a few high impact hours. So we don't want to burn you out, but we want you to be all in. So here's what being all in includes. We want you to believe in your role. Every week I call people who come to our church, people who are new to our church, and every single week, you know what I hear? I hear people say, that place was so warm and inviting and welcoming. I've never felt so welcome before. And that's our volunteers. You know, I always get comments about great speaking and great music and great kids program. That's great. And our staff kind of do a lot of that stuff. But I'll always get a comment every single week. Man, that place was so welcoming. So I want you to believe in your role. That's a part of being all in. Believe in what you do. So if you're opening a door, that role is important. If you're working up in the nursery, that role is important. If you're behind the stage on the production team, that role is important. Your role makes a difference, and we want you to believe in your role. Number two, we want you to be focused on your role. So when you're doing your role, whatever it is, if you're in the kids program or in the parking lot or behind the stage or behind some tech equipment, we want you to be focused on that. So not on your phone, not talking to all your friends and family who are coming by. Those are all good things to do, but not while you're volunteering. We want you to be focused in on your role because your role is so important. Number three, being all in means being consistent and on time. You know, we realize that emergencies come up and we have a fill-in team to fill in if you can't make it, but be as consistent as possible. Serve every time you're signed up to serve, and that makes a huge difference. And be on time. I mean, this is really important to us, the be on time thing. At the beginning of most of our volunteer roles, we have a VIP meeting, a time where we can all gather together and get on the same page and encourage one another and share with one another. It's kind of like a little family. It's kind of like a little life group. And if you're 10 minutes late, you miss the VIP meeting. You miss possibly the most important part of your volunteer role. So we want our volunteers to be on time, and I'll tell you, it runs smooth. We get focused in on our role. We can do things with excellence, and that's an important part of being all in. And number 4, we want you to be a team player. You know, Waterlife Church, we're a portable campus. We're a portable church. There are all kinds of extra things that we need to do that we might not need to do if we had our own building. But we love being at the Civic Center. But it means everyone has to be a team player. So there might be setup, tear down, extra things involved. We always have to be looking around at how can we help the greater cause at our church. So be a team player. And that's what it means to be all in, those 4 things. So here's a little overview of our volunteer opportunities. We have opportunities in the worship area. And Daniel Condas, he's our worship leader, and he's in charge of the musicians, and all our musicians go through an audition before they perform on stage, and he's also in charge of the production team. So we need all kinds of people from all kinds of audio and visual, lighting, camera work, sound, all kinds of great tech stuff. Daniel Condas is in charge of that. I'm in charge of the life group leaders and the host team. So the life group leaders, we meet in homes all throughout the county. We have about 40 life groups right now. And I'll tell you, we always need more life group leaders helping lead Bible studies out of homes during the week. And our host team has just a big variety of different volunteer roles, from our safety team to our care and prayer team, door greeters, parking lot patrol, ushers. We have a big list of volunteers for the host team. So if you're interested in anything on that end of things, then I'm in charge of that. And now for our Next Generations ministry, for the kids ministry and for the student ministry, Jay Edwards is in charge of that. And there are all kinds of roles. Student ministry is on Sunday nights, and of course, kids ministry is on Sunday mornings. And we just have a variety of different things that you can get involved in with Next Generation Ministries. The main thing we want you to know is that we could not do it without you. We use over 200 volunteers every week. So how can you get involved? How can you invest? You could be a weekly volunteer, and in our Waterlife Kids program, that's a weekly role. You can be a bi-weekly volunteer. Most of our host team roles are bi-weekly. You could be a monthly volunteer. Most of our production team and our musicians and our safety team, they're bi-weekly volunteers. Or you could be a fill-in in all kinds of areas. And I'll let you know that our fill-ins often work more than even our regular volunteers, because we need fill-ins all the time. So what kind of time commitment are you praying about getting involved with? So what's next for you? I want you to pray about it. I want you to really pray and really take this decision seriously. And then if you're ready to be on the team, just fill out the form below, and we will contact you this week of how you can get started in your training and how you can plug into your new volunteer role. Some of our volunteers, they need background checks, like in our Waterlife Kids program and our care and prayer team and on our safety team. But we'll do those background checks after we've filled out the form and after we've connected with you. Well, hey, I am so glad you're a part of our church, and I hope you make the decision to volunteer with us. We can use all kinds of people in all kinds of areas, and it's all a part of leading people into a knowing, growing, and going relationship with Jesus. Thank you for being a part of Waterlife.